Hi there guys, I'm Nikhil from GreedyTech, and in this video, I'll be unboxing this Motorola E6s. Now after a very long time, Motorola has launched a phone under 10,000 rupees, and this one is a pretty solid phone. Now this phone is priced at 8,000 rupees and you can buy it online on Flipkart and offline at Moto hubs. Now the most highlighting feature about this phone would definitely be the 4GB of RAM and 64GB of storage, and this phone also has a dedicated SD card slot so you can expand it. And it comes with a dual camera setup along with a fingerprint scanner. Now there are many other phones that offer you similar things at this price segment, but this is probably the first for Moto. So without any further delays, let's go on with the unboxing. So guys, here's the box. Now on the front we have the big Moto logo, and following that it says Moto E6 Plus. Now this phone is available in two color variants, polished graphite and rich cranberry, and we have the graphite color. Now on the right side we have some of the highlighting features like the dual camera setup, display, front camera once again, and the fingerprint scanner. On the left side we have some specifications, and finally at the bottom we have a quick look at how the phone looks from the behind along with the three color variants. Now without any further delays, let's just get on with unboxing. So that's all it takes. So guys, once we open it up, first we have the phone itself with a soft silicone pouch included, which is a pretty great thing. I'll just keep it aside for now. Next we have some documentation. Following that is a micro USB charging cable, not a type C. Next we have a 10 watts power adapter. Now over here we have a SIM card adapter, which is really appreciated. Finally we have the 3000 mAh battery, and that's all we get inside the box. Now let me put all these things aside and come back to the phone. Now let me remove the soft silicone case. I'll come back to it in a second. Now once again on the front we have the most highlighting features with two extra things, that's the battery and the processor information. So let me just peel the sticker off. Now on the back it's completely plain. So this is what Moto calls the polished graphite finish. For me it's more like a mirrored grey finish, and it really looks like a mirror. Now let's insert the battery. You have a small notch over here. Using that we can remove the back panel. There we go, and here goes the battery. This phone has support for dual SIM along with a dedicated SD card slot. These are the two micro SIM card slots, and over here we have the micro SD card slot. And this one with the Moto dimple is the fingerprint scanner. Just within few minutes, this back panel already has got some fingerprints. So that's pretty bad, and that's why we have this soft silicone case. Now this is how the phone looks with the case on. It has a raised lip for the display and even for the camera module. So even when you place your phone directly on its back or directly on its face, display and camera module are still very well protected. With that said, it can just give you some grip and prevent smudges, that's all. It doesn't offer any drop protection. So if you are worried about that, get a better case. Now let's have a quick physical overview and then check out the complete specifications. On the back, this phone has a super glossy looking back panel which can be removed just as I've shown you earlier. And at the top we have the dual camera setup followed by a single LED flash and a microphone. Beside that we have a circular fingerprint scanner along with that Moto logo. Now on the front you get a massive display with a U notch at the top and a pretty big chin at the bottom. Inside the U notch we have the front facing camera, and above that we have the earpiece. Now for the sides, on the right side it has the power and volume buttons. They are made of plastic and have a nice clicky feel to them, but I wish they were slightly more elevated. Now on the left side it is completely plain. At the top it has just the 3.5mm audio jack. And finally at the bottom, it is the mono speaker followed by the micro USB charging port and the primary microphone. Now this phone has a thickness of 8.6mm and weighs 150 grams. Now just for initial impressions, phone doesn't feel all that thick and feels pretty light in hand. Because of the glossy finish on the back, phone doesn't feel all that cheap either. Now for the specifications. On the rear, this phone sports a dual camera setup with a 13MP primary camera with f2.0 aperture and a 2MP secondary camera for taking portrait shots. For selfies, you get a 8MP camera with f2.0 aperture. It has a 6.1-inch IPS display with HD plus resolution, U-notch with the new 19.1:9 aspect ratio. It sports a MediaTek Helio P22 processor with PowerVR GE8320 GPU. It will be running Android 9.0, that's Android Pie, right out of the box. Finally, powering all this is a 3000 mAh battery. So guys, now I'll turn on the phone and set it up and come back to you in a second. So guys, this is how the phone looks once we turn it on and set it up. This is your default launcher and this is your default home screen. And if you swipe up and do it again, you can check out the app drawer. Now these are all the apps that come pre-installed. Just in case if you are wondering, it does have FM radio. Now let's check out the storage section. So out of that 64GB of space, you get about 55 gigabytes of space for user apps and user data, which is definitely more than sufficient for most people. Now for the about page, this phone is running pure stock Android based on Android 9, that's Android Pie, and right out of the box, it has the August security patch, which is still pretty good. When it comes to updates, Motorola hasn't confirmed anything. If you are really worried about updates, I would suggest you to get the Motorola One Action, which is a way better phone than this one, and also has Android One program, so you get regular monthly updates. Anyway, now let's check out the camera interface. So this is the camera interface and it looks pretty different from what we have seen on the Motorola One Action. By default, it opens up in the photo mode and you also get auto HDR, so that's pretty good, I guess. Next, we have this toggle over here for video recording. Next, we have panorama mode on the left side, and on the right side, we have the rear camera portrait mode. Now on this phone, we can change the amount of background blur effect you want before taking a picture as well. Next, we have beauty mode for the rear camera. Now this is the interface for the front camera, and once again it looks pretty similar. This is the regular photo mode or the selfie mode. Next, we have video recording. Next, we have panorama. Seems like it's only for the rear camera. Next, we have portrait selfie, and even for portrait selfie we can change the amount of background blur effect we want, so that's a new feature. Finally, we have the beauty mode for the front camera, and you can also use background blur effect with it. Now let's go to video recording and see the resolution. Now when it comes to video recording, we can record video in 1080p resolution. By default it is set to 720p, and there is no electronic image stabilization on this phone. Now these are some sample pictures taken with the front and rear cameras. Now let's test the speaker loudness. So guys, speaker on this phone is not super loud, but I think it's gonna be sufficient for regular media consumption, and it's gonna be great for regular ringtones and alarms. Now let's test the fingerprint scanner. I've already set it up, so here we go. Now on this phone, when I use the right fingerprint, I also get a nice haptic feedback. That's something I really appreciate. And the fingerprint scanner is also decently fast. It's not super fast like the Oppo, Vivo phones, not even as fast as the Redmi phones, but still it is pretty fast and pretty usable. Now let's test face unlock feature. I've already set it up, and here we go. Even face unlock feature works really well in good lighting conditions. It is pretty fast and pretty usable. Now let's test it in low lighting conditions, and even in low lighting conditions it works pretty well. It's decently fast. So guys, that was face unlock. Now before I conclude, these are the Antutu and Geekbench scores. So guys, this is the new Moto E6s. Now for the price, it's pretty decent. Just from initial impressions, I can say that the operating system is very well optimized, everything is pretty smooth, and memory management also seems to be pretty good. I have to test it for a long time to give you a complete review, but as I said, initial impressions are looking pretty good. So guys, if you're looking to buy a phone under 10,000 rupees that comes with pure stock Android, then this is something you can definitely consider. So guys, what do you think about this phone? Do let us know by commenting below this video, and if you're planning to buy this phone, use the link in the description. It always helps the channel. If you want us to make any specific video, tweet out to us with the hashtag AskGreedyTech on Twitter, and we will try to make it as soon as possible. I'm Nikhil from GreedyTech signing off. Be greedy, be lazy.